Hello, everyone. This is Heidi with Downtown NorCal Live. I wanted to acknowledge once again the civil rights conversation going on in our country and the struggles there. I also want to acknowledge the decision by many to observe Blackout Tuesday. Wanted to remind you the purpose of Downtown NorCal in this context. My purpose is to support quality in our communities, communities that reflect the culture within a community, those things that small businesses bring to communities, like quality relationships with business leaders, the fact that they give so much back to their communities, that they provide access to opportunity for others and jobs, that the very invention of a small business can be someone's dream and reality, and that each of us can learn from our business leaders. I learn every time I talk to them, and will continue to do so in the context of the civil rights conversations we are having. So to that end, I would like to introduce Kelly Morgan. She is of Yolo Eats in Woodland. Welcome, Kelly.
Thank you, Heidi.
So I want to start by reading your mission statement right up front on your website. It says, as a family-owned company, we subscribe ourselves to the notion that family extends beyond the immediate reach of our relatives. That notion influences every aspect of our operation. We have taken great strides to provide both our guests and employees with a place that feels like home, because we believe that everyone deserves more than just community. The last part of that especially struck me, Kelly. What do you mean more than just community?
Well, first I need to give a shout out to my son James, because he and I both worked on the mission statement, and honestly that last line was straight from James. And I think that for my kids, maybe in our household, there was this sense that there was always an open door, and it was a gathering place for friends and for family. And so I don't know, I think he just got that broader sense of community, in that somehow we're all connected. And so for us, Woodland has been, my kids were born here. I was not born here, but I've lived here over 30 years. So there's this essence of this extended family within this community. And so that's, I think, where James came up with that there, even though he has a sister, I would say there are many sisters and brothers within this community for him. And so I think that's where it kind of originated for him. And just to expand on that, I just, like what I said earlier, is that I think that our house always had an open door. And so I think that's where it kind of came from. And when I opened Maria's, it was really important to me to feel like when people came in, that I was taking that special attention that I would take when someone came to my home. I want to make sure they're comfortable. Do they have their favorite drink available? Do they have, do they know that they're going to get something that they'll enjoy eating? Just kind of that whole hostess kind of feeling of making your guests feel at home. So I think that all kind of ties together, maybe.
Definitely does. So let's talk about your business. You have 4 different businesses. Can you go over those briefly?
Yes. So Maria's Cantina is a Mexican restaurant. That was the first restaurant that we opened. Absolutely no restaurant experience before that. It was more about trying to bring a concept and something different to town. And then we started a catering business, which I have since closed. And out of the catering business came some amazing recipes that people really love from my old chef, John Gamboni. And so there became this desire to open another place to kind of highlight his recipes. That's where Morgan's on Main came in. And along the way, I still had Lincoln Avenue as offices, but I didn't and we kind of used it for different catering events and things like that when we had catering company. But then it just kind of sat there for a while. So in between Morgan's and after Morgan's, my son came home from college. I had a little space that I'd always wanted a coffee place to be in. And I took him in there and I said, what are you going to do when you come home? Are you coming home? Are you going to go somewhere else? He says, no, I really want to come home. And I said, well, here's this little spot, and I would love to put a coffee shop with beer and wine. What do you think? Do you want to do this? So he really dove in, and I had the ability to let him be under my umbrella, so to speak, and be able to give him the advice from all of my staff that has been running Morgan's and Maria's. So that opened up. And then after that, we decided, we really just need to get back to being able to use Lincoln as a venue. So that's become the big push this last year. People were really excited because they'd had, a few events there. And so once we got it back open, I was just so happy. We're finally getting a presence again, and getting the ball rolling this year, and getting, some good bookings for that. And then, COVID hit.
COVID hit. So COVID hit, and events are not happening. You're hoping to have some bookings for Christmas, perhaps in the December season. The status of your other restaurants. Are you open? Are you halfway open?
Yes. Morgan's on Main is open. It opened last night for dinner. Morgan's on Main, we used to be open for lunch and dinner, and I might as well just say it right now. We're only going to be open for dinner from now on until, we kind of get back on our feet. So right now, Morgan's on Main is open at 3:00 in the bar, and then we'll be open until 9:00 at night. That's Monday through Saturday. So that is, our first venture into the real world again. Last night it went pretty well. We have enough spaces there that we were able to space everyone out and still get a decent crowd in. So that was helpful. I sat on the patio last night, so that's a great spot to sit. And we're definitely going to be putting tables out front as well. We have a nice area out front, kind of a barricaded area. And we initially didn't have a kind of waiting area. So that was kind of the outdoor waiting area. But now I think we're going to put a couple tables out there so people can actually have dinner out front. Maria's will open tomorrow night. Everybody probably is wondering why I wouldn't open on Taco Tuesday, but that's why, because everyone. It's the most busy night of our week. And, we just wanted to ease into reopening because, it's we need some grace because we're trying to follow all the rules and all the new standards that are being set for us. So Taco Tuesday would have just been a mess. I'm just saying it. It would have been a mess because everybody wants to get back at it, and I get that feeling. I just didn't want to open to people being frustrated. So we're going to open Wednesday. James's Coffee Shop, he just opened yesterday his second place, which is all his own. This is his baby in Sacramento. So another Morgan's Mill just opened on K Street yesterday. So he has limited hours there right now. But funny enough, today, he sent me a text and he said, Mom, Gavin Newsom just walked in.
You never know.
No, you don't know, because they're all down there cleaning up, and I'm sure he was down there to see, there were a lot of workers out there yesterday and today cleaning up. James had a rock thrown through his window, but he was still able to open up Monday. So the mill in Woodland, we're letting people seat themselves outside, and probably in the next couple of days we'll be able to let them we'll be able to seat them inside.
You're really walking us through just how day to day and hour to hour, I suppose it is, in making these decisions and how deliberate you have to be at this time. So I respect that. One of the things you seem very deliberate about when I look at your website is the recruitment of employees. And I know that you've had to reduce your workforce, but when you are advertising for them, you are really putting some nice things out there: employee gatherings and appreciation, growth opportunities, discount meals, multiple places to work, flexible scheduling, and this one, health, dental, and vision care. So does this also reflect, is this what you mean in your mission statement about caring for others?
Yes. I felt like, when we opened Maria's, um, it it was a little bit different than some of the restaurants in town, but still not like when I opened Morgan's. When I opened Morgan's, because it's a steakhouse, people expect a certain level of service as opposed to Maria's. So they still want good service, and we provide that. But I'm just saying there was like a certain level. You gotta know your wine list. You gotta know some wine. You got to this and that. Well, when I opened Morgan's, what I realized is that I had experienced managers, but I mean, fresh newbies for service and busing and all of those things. And the thing that I loved about it is that it was exactly why I wanted to go into this business, because who I was seeing was our young people from this town. Some of them, wanted to do it just as because something new was coming to town. Some of them wanted to do it because they're going on to school and they needed to supplement some income. And then I had some that have been here since day one. They love their job and they want to be as full-time as possible. So what I do is I've offered all my managers, full-time employees, have all those benefits, and then we offer it to anyone else who works for us for them to supplement it, and so they can have a good plan as well and be under our plan. So trying my best to offer what I can to our community. I guess that was the key there. And for me, seeing these young kids come in and be so excited about something happening in our town was really refreshing to me. Really refreshing.
That's the giving back I hear over and over from small businesses. I wanted to ask you one last question, and that is it harder to shut down or is it harder to reopen?
Definitely harder to reopen. And just because of the new regulations, shutting down was scary, but opening up is just, there's a lot of preparation. There's a lot of jumping through hoops to make sure. Shutting the doors and saying, okay, we're doing curbside. That part was, as far as the logistics, was pretty easy. And it's funny because you've got that emotion factor of shutting down. You're like scared and you're worried, and then but the logistics are easy. And then opening up, you're like, oh, I'm so relieved, but the logistics are a little scary, because the last thing you want is to get dinged and find out that you have to close again, or you're going to lose some license that you need or whatever. And I will say, even though I say that, I think that there's been grace on that. I love it that ABC has allowed us to sell alcoholic beverages out the door for curbside. That has been huge for us. Maria's, we're known for our margaritas. People coming to be able to pick up the margaritas it helped us. It really did. And so, I would say opening up is much harder, even though in our spirits, we're more excited.
Yeah. Well, I wish you well in this time and a great amount of success. I've been talking with Kelly Morgan of Yolo Eats. She runs Morgan's on Main, Morgan's Mill, Maria's Cantina, and Lincoln Avenue, which is a venue for events. So thanks so much for joining me, Kelly.
Thank you so much, Heidi. I really appreciate your work.
I'll be back with another interview tomorrow. Bye-bye, everyone.